Imagine surviving a brutal winter without the luxury of gas, electricity, or even central heating. Sounds like a nightmare, right? But what if I told you there's an entire community that thrives on this challenge and has perfected the art of staying warm? And doing it without burning a single kilowatt or wasting a drop of gas? No, it's not a survivalist camp or a DIY project gone wild. It's the Amish, and their methods are downright genius. Stick around as we uncover 10 clever and sustainable ways the Amish keep toasty all winter long. Ready to discover how they do it? Let's dive in. Number 1. Layering. The secret to staying toasty, without turning up the heat. We've all heard of layering up in winter, right? But the Amish take it to a whole new level. Imagine wrapping yourself in a cocoon of warmth, with woolen layers from head to toe. We're talking about more than just sweaters. We're talking wool socks, wool leggings, and even wool-lined shoes. The beauty of wool is its ability to trap air and keep you warm, even when it's wet. So instead of cranking up the thermostat, the Amish just layer up and get moving. And the best part? No energy bills at the end of the month. Now let's think about your typical winter outfit. Maybe a thick sweater and a pair of fuzzy socks. Well, picture that, but on steroids. Layering is a survival tactic. The more air trapped between each layer, the more insulation you get. So the Amish are basically wearing their own personal portable heaters. Wool, especially, is the real MVP in this process. It's not just about warmth, it's about smart warmth. Wool is great at regulating temperature, so you won't feel too hot if you're doing something active, and you won't freeze if you're sitting still. That's why the Amish swear by it. They can go about their day, whether they're chopping wood or carrying groceries, without ever feeling uncomfortable. And here's another pro tip from the Amish. You can layer your wool as much as you want without losing mobility. The beauty of wool isn't just its warmth, it's how lightweight it is. You could pile on wool after wool and still feel like you could take on a winter marathon if you had to. The flexibility and freedom you get while staying warm is something modern. Winter clothes can't always compete with. Think about this. When you turn up the heat, the temperature is only warm in one place, the room you're in. But when you layer like the Amish, you're insulated everywhere. The warmth is on your body, in your boots, under your hat, and inside your gloves. It's like wearing a personal heating system all day long. And let's not forget how effective wool is at moisture management. If you've ever been out in the snow, you know that wet socks and cold feet are a nightmare. Well, the Amish have this sorted. Wool absorbs moisture and wicks it away, keeping your skin dry and warm, even in the wettest conditions. So whether you're trudging through the snow or getting caught in a winter downpour, you won't find yourself shivering with wet clothes. It's one of those tricks that seems too simple, but it's incredibly effective when you need it most. While we're all getting distracted by gadgets and heating systems, the Amish are busy keeping their bodies warm through tried and true methods that never fail. In a world that's obsessed with tech and high bills, this low-tech solution feels like a breath of fresh air. Instead of cranking up the heater, they're simply dressing smarter, and let's be honest, it's a trick that works. Number 2. Wool socks. The Amish winter MVPs. You might think they're just a comfy necessity, but for the Amish, they're a full-on winter strategy. The Amish are smart enough to know that if you want to keep warm, start from the ground up. Wool socks are their go-to because they can wick away dampness and keep your feet warm even when it's freezing outside. Wool isn't just a fashion choice, it's a material that does its job with precision. The fibers are naturally crimped, creating tiny air pockets that trap warmth close to the skin. This is especially important when you're out in the cold for long stretches. The Amish understand that keeping feet toasty is key to staying comfortable, so they reach for wool socks for more than just warmth. They're practically essential for their winter survival toolkit. But that's not all. Another impressive feature of wool socks is their natural odor-resistant properties. Yes, you read that right. Wool resists odor, which is perfect for those long winter days when you don't want to constantly change your socks. You can keep those wool socks on all day and still feel fresh. Plus, they're incredibly durable. Amish families know the value of good, long-lasting items, and wool socks are an investment that will pay off year after year. Number 3. Warm stones and heating pads. Natural heat sources. Okay, here's where things get pretty cool. Literally, imagine curling up on a cold night with a stone that's been heating up by the fire. The Amish have been doing this for centuries, and it's honestly one of the most brilliant yet. Simple ways to stay warm. They place warm stones or bricks in the oven or near a stove, letting them absorb the heat, then transfer them to their beds or sitting areas to keep the warmth going all night long. These stones radiate heat for hours, and the Amish use them in everything from their beds to their chairs. It's like nature's heating pad, but way better. If you've never used a warm stone to get comfy, let me tell you, it's like snuggling up with a giant cozy hug. Do you know how satisfying it feels to step into a hot shower on a cold day? Now imagine that same comforting heat, but on your bed or couch, without any electricity involved. It's the kind of warmth that settles deep into your bones, making you forget all about the chilly air outside. No electric heater, no radiator, just a simple stone that's been charged up with the heat of the fire. What's truly genius about this method is how long the heat lasts. When you're using a modern heater or electric blanket, the heat often disappears quickly and the cold creeps back in once it's turned off. But with warm stones, the heat radiates slowly and steadily, like a natural thermostat. They don't just get warm and stay there for a minute, they keep releasing that heat for hours, making sure your space stays cozy long after you've fallen asleep. And because the Amish are experts at using natural resources, this technique eliminates the need for electricity or gas. Think about it. No bills, no carbon footprint, just the Earth's own materials doing the job. They understand that there's no need to reinvent the wheel when you can use what's already around you. And warm stones are the perfect example of that. By using natural materials like stones or bricks, the Amish embrace a sustainable, cost-effective, and incredibly efficient way to stay warm. It's like bringing a little bit of ancient wisdom into our modern lives. Honestly, there's something very satisfying about the simplicity of it all. So if you ever find yourself in a cold house with no heat, maybe it's time to follow the Amish's lead and get yourself a nice warm stone. Number 4. Harnessing the power of the sun. Sunlight. Free, renewable, and readily available. So why not use it to stay warm? The Amish are masters at this, and it's simpler than you might think. During the day, they open their curtains wide, letting the sun pour into their homes. This helps warm the rooms naturally. As the sun sets, they close the curtains tightly, trapping that precious heat inside. It's one of the most ingenious, energy-efficient ways to stay cozy without touching a thermostat or reaching for the heating bill. But here's the kicker. They strategically design their homes to maximize sunlight. South-facing windows are prime real estate in Amish homes because they get the most sunlight exposure. In fact, many Amish homes have large, unobstructed windows facing south to let as much sunlight in as possible. The sun is a powerful natural heater that can warm a room to a comfortable level with little effort. It's not just about letting the sunlight in. It's about creating a home that capitalizes on its power all year long. This clever design allows the Amish to use the sun's warmth to heat their homes without relying on any external source like gas or electricity. While we're scrambling to turn on space heaters and adjust the thermostat, the Amish are sitting back, letting nature do its thing. Think of it as a free heating system, powered by the most reliable energy source out there, the sun. And when it's done shining for the day, the Amish have already planned ahead to retain the warmth they've captured. When the sun starts to set and the temperature drops, The Amish use their curtains to trap the heat inside. Heavy curtains or drapes are used as an additional layer of insulation. Closing them not only blocks the cold, but also helps keep the heat that has been built up throughout the day from escaping. This simple trick is highly effective at retaining the warmth of the sun, especially when combined with the home's design to maximize sunlight intake. This energy-efficient method is also environmentally friendly. By making the most of the sun, the Amish reduce their dependence on fossil fuels. It's like having a renewable energy system in place, without the need for any solar panels, batteries, or complicated technology. Number 5. Draft stoppers and ceiling windows. We've all been there, shivering while trying to block a draft from a window or door. That cold breeze creeping in, making it feel like the heat is vanishing into thin air. But here's the thing, the Amish don't just slap a towel over the crack and call it a day. They get creative, draft stoppers, thick curtains, and even sealing wax around windows. These are just a few of the ways they stop cold air from sneaking in. It's like they've turned stopping drafts into an art form. And honestly, it's something we could all learn from. The Amish are like the cold's worst nightmare, and these simple tricks are a big part of their strategy. They don't wait for the winter chill to catch them off guard. They plan ahead, ensuring that their homes stay warm without the need for complicated or expensive solutions. The beauty of their approach is in the simplicity. Take, for example, the homemade draft stoppers they create. All it takes is some fabric, usually thick cloth, rolled up tightly and stuffed with wool. It sounds almost too basic to be effective, but trust me, it works like a charm. These homemade draft stoppers are placed at the bottoms of doors, stopping cold air in its tracks. The wool stuffing acts as an insulating barrier, while the cloth wraps everything up snugly. It's such a simple yet effective method, and it's one that doesn't require constant replacement or maintenance. Just roll it up, position it, and voila, no more drafts. It's like creating your own little fortress against the cold. Now let's talk about windows. Cold air loves to sneak in through even the tiniest cracks. And those little gaps around window frames? They're like welcome mats for chilly drafts. The Amish aren't having any of that. They go the extra mile by sealing those cracks with sealing wax or a similar compound. It's not just about blocking the wind. It's about completely sealing off any potential weak points in the home's defense system. This ensures that once the heat is inside, it stays there, and the cold is locked out for good. Thick curtains are another essential weapon in the Amish arsenal. Not only do they add a cozy, homely touch to any room, but they also act as an extra layer of protection against the cold. The Amish make sure to use heavy insulating fabrics that provide an additional barrier. These curtains help trap heat inside, keeping the warmth where it belongs. And when the sun's up, they open the curtains wide to let in all that free sunlight to naturally warm their space. It's all part of their strategic design for staying warm. But what makes the Amish approach so brilliant isn't just the methods themselves, it's the mindset. They don't rely on high-tech gadgets or expensive tools to maintain comfort. They make the most of what they have, using simple, natural resources in ways that are both cost-effective and efficient. Number 6. Fireplaces and wood stoves. The Amish have been using wood stoves and fireplaces to stay warm for centuries, and for good reason. Not only do they provide reliable heat, but they also create that cozy atmosphere that makes winter feel a little less brutal. The crackling fire, the smell of burning wood, and the soft glow from the stove. It's the perfect recipe for winter comfort. But it's not just about ambiance. Wood stoves are essential to keeping the Amish warm without modern energy sources. Let's dive into why these traditional heating methods are so brilliant. The beauty of wood stoves is that they're efficient and affordable, especially in Amish communities where they can source their own wood. Instead of relying on an electric or gas furnace, which can be costly and unreliable, the Amish maintain their stoves with the kind of care and expertise that's been passed down through generations. They carefully monitor the wood they burn, making sure they are using the most efficient fuel available. Not only does this reduce waste, but it ensures that the heat is spread evenly throughout the house. Here's the clever part. The Amish don't just have one stove to rely on. They might have several strategically placed throughout the house to maximize heat distribution. This method is all about using heat in the most efficient way possible. Wood stoves also have the advantage of offering steady, consistent heat. Unlike modern electric or gas heating systems that can fluctuate, wood stoves provide a more natural, even warmth. As long as the fire is burning, the heat is constant, and that makes for a much more comfortable environment during the long, chilly winter months. Number 7. Cozying up in small spaces. Imagine a space in your home where you never feel cold. It's a cozy, inviting spot that wraps you in warmth the second you step into it. The Amish have mastered this concept, and it's all about creating small, intentional warm zones. Rather than trying to heat the entire house to a comfortable temperature, the Amish focus on creating specific areas that stay warm, while other parts of the house might be cooler. One example? A cozy nook by the stove, where the heat radiates and makes the space feel like a personal haven. The rest of the house might be chilly, but this warm zone stays toasty and comfortable, perfect for gathering together. This way, the Amish are able to concentrate their energy on keeping certain areas warmer, rather than wasting heat on rooms that aren't in use. What's fascinating about this approach is how effective it is. By focusing on these small spaces, the Amish make the most of the heat they already have. Think about it. Rather than trying to heat up the entire house, why not make the areas you use the most as warm and inviting as possible? The Amish have perfected this technique, and it allows them to stay cozy without the need for excessive energy consumption. So next time the chill creeps in, take a page from the Amish playbook and create your own little warm zone. Cozy, efficient, and full of comfort. Number 8. Hats and scarves indoors. Here's a little-known secret about Amish winters. Hats and scarves aren't just for outside. Inside the house, the Amish wear them too. You might think hats and scarves are only meant for braving the cold outdoors, but for the Amish, they're essential pieces of indoor winter wear as well. Keeping your head and neck warm is crucial for preventing heat loss, and the Amish know this better than anyone. They understand that heat escapes from these areas faster than you might think. So, covering them up is one of their go-to strategies for staying warm. Imagine waking up on a frosty winter morning. You're already bundled up in layers, but there's still that little chill creeping in. What's the solution? Throw on a cozy knitted hat or a thick wool scarf indoors, and bam! You've got an extra layer of warmth right where you need it most. The Amish have perfected this trick, ensuring that they're as warm as possible throughout the day, no matter how cold it is outside. The best part is they don't mind looking a little extra if it means staying warm. In fact, the Amish often wear hats and scarves not just for practical reasons, but as part of their daily winter routine. The extra layer helps keep them comfortable while they go about their day-to-day activities. Whether it's a busy day of chores, cooking, or simply relaxing, that woolen hat or scarf adds an essential element of warmth. And let's be honest, who couldn't use a little extra warmth on a chilly day? That's the beauty of the Amish approach. They don't worry about fashion trends or what people think. They prioritize warmth and comfort. So if you're feeling a little chilly during the winter months, follow the Amish way. Throw on a cozy hat or scarf and enjoy that extra bit of warmth. It's a simple, practical way to stay comfortable while embracing the beauty of winter. Number 9. Family heat. Okay, this one is adorable, but also highly effective. The Amish are huge believers in the power of community, especially when it comes to staying warm during the long winter months. Instead of each family member trying to stay warm individually, They gather together in one cozy space and share body heat. Whether it's huddling around the stove, sitting in the living room, or snuggling up under blankets, the Amish know that there's real warmth in numbers. It's a strategy that not only keeps them toasty, but brings everyone closer together. Imagine a chilly evening when the wind is howling outside and the house feels a little colder than usual. Instead of everyone retreating into their separate rooms with personal heaters, the Amish family gathers in the common areas. Together, they enjoy the shared warmth, and the sense of togetherness makes the cold seem a little less intimidating. It's simple, but incredibly effective. The body heat from each person adds up, creating a warm, inviting space that feels like the coziest place to be. But it's not just about physical warmth. It's about emotional warmth, too. In a world where we're often wrapped up in technology or busy with our individual lives, the Amish remind us that sometimes the best way to stay warm is simply by being close to the people you care about. There's something undeniably heartwarming about this approach. It's a lovely reminder that when you surround yourself with loved ones, the cold outside doesn't stand a chance. By gathering together, the Amish turn the coldest days into some of the most memorable and meaningful times of the year. So next time you're facing a chilly day, consider bundling up with your family or friends. After all, there's no better way to stay warm than by sharing a little warmth and a little love with the people who matter most. Number 10. Homemade quilts and blankets. Last, but definitely not least, let's talk about the Amish's love for homemade quilts and blankets. These aren't just any blankets. They're carefully crafted with warmth and comfort in mind. Amish quilts are thick, hand-sewn masterpieces designed to provide incredible insulation. Each quilt is a work of art, made with intricate stitching and high-quality fabrics that are specifically chosen for their ability to trap and retain heat. What makes these quilts even more special is their sentimental value. Many Amish quilts are passed down from generation to generation, creating a direct link to family history and tradition. Each quilt tells a unique story, stitched together with love and memories. They're more than just functional. They're symbols of family and heritage, woven into every thread. But don't be fooled by their sentimental charm. These quilts are seriously warm. When you snuggle up in a quilt made from carefully selected fabrics, you can feel the warmth cocoon you, creating a cozy refuge from the cold. The weight of the quilt combined with the layers of fabric traps the heat, keeping you toasty all night long. It's the ultimate comfort, and there's something deeply soothing about the gentle embrace of a handmade quilt. And here's another bonus. Amish quilts are made with natural materials, which means you won't find any of the harmful chemicals often found in mass-produced bedding. No flame retardants, no synthetic fabrics, just pure, natural warmth and comfort. This makes the quilts not only incredibly functional, but also healthier for you and the environment. The Amish take great pride in using the best materials available, which is why their quilts are so prized. So while these quilts carry deep emotional value, they also play an essential role in helping the Amish stay warm during those cold winter nights. They're the perfect example of how something handmade and thoughtfully crafted can have both practical and sentimental benefits. Next time you're wrapping up in your own blankets, just imagine the generations of warmth, love, and care that went into making a quilt like those cherished by the Amish. So there you have it. 10 clever and surprisingly simple ways the Amish heat their homes all winter long without relying on gas or electricity. It's a mix of tradition, creativity, and sustainability that's as relevant today as it was hundreds of years ago. These Amish techniques prove that you don't need high-tech gadgets to stay cozy in the cold. And honestly, I think we could all learn a thing or two from the Amish about making the most of what we have. Sometimes, the old ways really are the best ways. Well, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Did you like this video? If you did, please consider liking, dropping a comment, and hitting the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on new uploads.